This episode of Marijuana Today Daily is brought to you by our exclusive multi-state cannabis operator sponsor, Curaleaf, one of the nation's top vertically integrated medical and wellness cannabis operators with 53 local dispensaries, 15 cultivation sites, and 24 processing facilities operating in 17 states. You can learn more about Curaleaf over at curaleaf.com with Curaleaf spelled Curaleaf. That's curaleaf.com. Good morning, Marijuana Nation. It's Friday, April 17th, 2020, and you're tuned in to episode 917 of Marijuana Today Daily. I'm your host, Shay Gunther, and I'll be walking you through today's marijuana news and headlines. As always, we have a full and busy day of cannabis news in our hands, so let's jump right into it. Bruce Barcott over at Leafly starts off our final news day of the week with an update out of Massachusetts, where a judge ruled yesterday that the decision to close down the state's adult use shops during the coronavirus pandemic was legal and would stand. Judge Kenneth Salinger ruled that Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker had a rational basis for ordering adult use shops closed, even if people disagreed with his reasoning. That's important here, as the lawsuit that was filed against Baker over adult use sought to overturn the decision based on the idea that it was made irrationally. In his ruling, Judge Salinger did agree with the idea that there are ways to mitigate the rush of out-of-state customers Governor Baker cited as his main reason for making his call, though ultimately that did not sway the outcome. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration has changed up its view on how smoking and using vaporizers affects how a person experiences the symptoms of the coronavirus. Last month, the USDA warned that people who do smoke and vape could run a higher risk of suffering more serious coronavirus symptoms, but in a response to a recent email query from Bloomberg News, the agency said, quote, "E-cigarette use can expose the lungs to toxic chemicals, but whether those exposures increase the risk of COVID-19 is not known," unquote. Just like a lot of things about this virus. That doesn't mean that smoking and vaping are safe to do in terms of the coronavirus. It's just that we don't know in particular that those practices make things worse. Our final top story on the day and the week is news out of Canada that marijuana giant Canopy Growth is pulling back on some of its international business ambitions while also laying off 85 full-time employees. The company said it's closing down planned operations in Canada, Colombia, the African nations of South Africa and Lesotho, as well as here in the US, where Canopy will not be building out its industrial hemp operations. Another interesting point on this one is Canopy's stated focus on switching cultivation over to outdoor from more costly and complicated indoor grows. Canopy remains the top Canadian licensed producer, so I think it's important to stay on top of its developments. Swing over to Marijuana Business Daily for more country-specific details here. As always, we have all the news we cover linked to on our website at mjtodaydaily.com. Those are the top stories for today. It's time for Marijuana Today Daily Headlines Blitz. Before we blitz out on headlines, let's quickly thank our sponsor, Curaleaf, one of the nation's top multi-state cannabis operators with 53 local dispensaries, 15 cultivation sites, and 24 processing facilities operating in 17 states. As the coronavirus pandemic has affected nearly every aspect of our lives, everyone at Curaleaf is committed to meeting the needs of their patients, customers, and employees. Curaleaf has been designated an essential service in every state where it has dispensaries and continues to stay open using modified measures to reduce as much as possible the chance of virus transmission. That's why Curaleaf now offers exclusive early hours for older patient customers, as well as a new reservation system that lets you wait in your car until it's time to shop. You can learn more about all the things that Curaleaf is doing to respond to the coronavirus over at curaleaf.com, with Curaleaf spelled Curaleaf. That's curaleaf.com. Again, huge thanks to everyone at Curaleaf for the support that helps us keep our news lights running. All right, time for the Blitz. Deborah Burchard over at Green Market Report has a bit of good industry news, as marijuana retail platform Greenbits just announced that it has closed on a $23 million round of Series B funding led by Tiger Global and Casa Verde Capital. Greenbits is used in over 1,200 adult use and medical marijuana dispensaries across the nation and started in February servicing shops in the state of Illinois, expected to be one of the larger legal markets in the country. Pop over to Green Market Reports if you need more here. Randy Robinson over at Mary Jane has another happier than not story with a new study finding that farm workers in the legal hemp industry make twice as much money as their peers in other agricultural sectors, with hemp paying around $52,000 per year on average against just under $25,000 for non-hemp ag workers. Farm managers in hemp also are paid more, pulling in $100,000 to $125,000 a year against non-hemp farm managers who average closer to $70,000. Deborah has another story on the day with another Illinois-focused headline, this time with news of Cresco Labs and its just-completed cultivation facility located in Lincoln, Illinois. Cresco is now in the enviable position of having 215,000 square feet of built-out cultivation space across its 3 in-state facilities, which are licensed to grow up to 630,000 square feet. That's not a bad place to be in a state with as much potential upswing as Illinois. I would read this one today if I were you, as it gives good insight to Cresco's building dominance of Illinois' market. With this first of 2 stories today, Kyle Yeager writes of new approval just announced yesterday by the U.S. Department of Agriculture of hemp regulatory plans filed by Florida, Kansas, and 3 native tribes. Industrial hemp was legalized by the 2018 Farm Bill, but federal authorities require states and native tribes to submit plans for how industrial hemp will be regulated ahead of farmers being able to start growing legally. So far, 36 states and tribes in all have been given the Hempy green light by the USDA. You can read a full list of those along with details on the USDA site, which you can find via Kyle's story over at Marijuana Moment. Kyle's second piece on the day concerns a letter sent by a group of Massachusetts lawmakers to the head of the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, asking that VA doctors be allowed to make verbal recommendations to military veteran patients that they use medical marijuana. As Kyle points out, though, it's not clear what effect that would actually have, given that states require written documentation from recommending agents, but I guess the gesture is nice. The letter was led by Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren and includes signatures from fellow Bay State Senator Ed Markey, as well as congressional reps Catherine Clark, James McGovern, Seth Moulton, Ayanna Priestley, and Joe Kennedy III. Marijuana Moment has this letter exclusively, so another one I'd open up if this catches your attention. MedMen founders Adam Bierman and Andrew Maudlin are being sued in a case involving a former investor who says the two owe him the deeds to their houses as part of an earlier agreement he made with them before agreeing to put $10 million into their company, on top of making a $2 million loan. Attorneys for the two could not be reached, and a spokesperson for MedMen declined to comment, saying it was not a party in the matter. We're going to wrap the week up with a somewhat feel-good story about an Arizona company that gave out more than 100 ounces of cannabis to patients in need due to coronavirus pandemic hardship. The Arizona company Grow Sciences posted an announcement at the end of last month asking that patients who need free marijuana write in with their story. They got back more than 400 replies, to which they individually replied back with offers of a free quarter ounce of medical marijuana. Those are the headlines and news for the day. I'll be back with you again Tuesday morning after the holiday break with another information-packed episode of Marijuana Today Daily. But in the meantime, if you have any stories to share or feedback to give, zip us an email to headlines@mjtodaydaily.com. And while you're clicking around the interwebs, swing over to our website at mjtodaydaily.com to find links to all the news we cover. Thanks to our sponsor, Curaleaf, and to our awesome Patreon listeners for the support that makes this show possible. To join the illustrious ranks of the Patreon listeners yourself, swing over to our website at mjtodaydaily.com and click on that big blue button at the top of the page that says Become a Patron. I'm your host, Shay Gunther. Thanks for tuning in and starting your day with Marijuana Today.
One take, Shay. One take.